For Sharif Abdul Mun'im and his family, Iraq's national election in March is a defining moment. They have witnessed many previous elections, but they believe this one will be different. This time, they say, they will be able to choose the candidate they trust.
The
coming elections are very important to the whole country. With the adoption of the open list, we will be able to elect individual candidates who we know. We were cheated in the last ones. Our votes went in vain.
2010 is likely to be a critical year for Iraq. The parliamentary elections will be followed in August by the pullout of all U.S. combat forces, as agreed between Washington and Baghdad. Many politicians expect this election to change the political map for the next 4 years and possibly permanently.
The tendency now for changing the current political leaders with new faces, with technocrats, with people working for Iraq rather than working for their own parties or on sectarianism or ethnism. So I think if the coming elections will succeed, it will change the political system in Iraq.
All Iraqis seem to agree that the upcoming elections are crucial for their future. But many are worried about one thing above all else in the run-up to the nationwide vote: security.
Abu Ihab was lucky to escape the massive coordinated bombings in Baghdad early this month, in which more than 100 people were killed. He says he had lost many loved ones.
We lost relatives, friends and loved ones in the last bombing in this street. We have suffered a lot, and all what we need now is security. Without security, we cannot achieve anything.
As Iraqis look ahead to 2010, all wish for a year without bloodshed or violence, but realize that, considering the challenges on the ground, this may remain just a wish. Mosab, Jasim, Al Jazeera, Western Iraq.
To talk more on Iraq's upcoming elections, I'm joined now by David Mack, former US diplomat in Iraq. Ambassador Mack, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be with you, Anna.
Well, we heard many of the people in that report there telling us how important this election is for Iraq. What do you believe?
Well, I don't think that we should focus too much on the elections. The elections can be useful as a tool in the overall process of national political reconciliation. But it's that overall process that's important, and unless the elections serve that process, they could cause more instability rather than legitimizing any future Iraqi government.
Okay, so we have the elections in March. Give me your best case scenario and your worst case scenario.
Well, best case scenario would be that Jawad Maliki, the current prime minister, and his state of law party that has a few minor parties would join, if not in an electoral coalition, would join in a post-election governing coalition with one or both of the non-sectarian parties that represent a variety of secular Shia politicians and Sunni leaders. If he were to do that, it would be a powerful non-sectarian bloc in the parliament that then could effectively ally with the Kurdish parties to control Iraqi politics in a way that I think would be very desirable for Iraq's stability. Now, worst case. Worst case is that the Iraqi Sunni Arabs, many of whom feel that once again, as in January 2005 elections, they're going to be cheated of what they consider to be their rightful representation, and therefore they would support or acquiesce in violence against the Maliki government, against Shia civilian population. And this might then spiral into a downward spiral into ethnic sectarian violence, as we saw following those disastrous January 2005 elections.
Now, does the outcome of the election and the manner in which that outcome is reached determine how the U.S. plan for withdrawal is implemented?
I don't believe so, Anand. It is a factor, obviously, but the United States is going to draw down its forces regardless of the ups and downs of Iraqi politics. This was signaled very clearly to Iraqi leaders directly by Vice President Biden when he was there not too long ago. And he made it very clear to them that they were going to have to get their political act together. They couldn't count on the United States always being there as a safety net to preserve security in case they didn't do it themselves. So I believe that for a lot of reasons, the calendar is not firmly set. The deadlines are. And that the United States is going to work rather studiously to achieve those deadlines.
Ambassador David Mack, thank you.
You're welcome.